Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. If you are enjoying this show, you should also check out the Premier Boys Podcast, hosted by myself, Aaron Kintok Sands, the Star Rider Rod, and Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal, where we discuss many topics within the culture, from music, love, relationships, sex, politics, and many more. We could make you laugh, but the show could also get a little raunchy and may not be for everybody. But if you're willing to take that risk, check out the Premier Boys Podcast every Wednesdays, a part of the Premier Powerverse. Other show you could check out on the Premier Powerverse is King Talk with Aaron Sands, hosted by Aaron King Talk Sands every Friday at 12 p.m. Star Time Podcast hosted by the Star Rider Rod every Monday at 12 p.m. And Welcome to the Trilogy hosted by Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Listen and support on every show in the Premier Powerverse. Thank you for listening to this message and enjoy the show. You are now listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Season 8. Chill! Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, 1/4 of the Premier Boys Podcast, and your host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And welcome to another new episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Hope all is well. And on this episode, we have our special guest. We have a writer, a podcast coach, and she is the host of The American Dreams in the Eyes of Immigrants, which is also being nominated for a podcast award. And we're going to talk to her about her life journey, her podcast show, how it feels to be a podcast nominated show, being a podcast coach, and many more. This was a really, really dope conversation. I can't wait for y'all to listen to this episode. And y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back.
What is up? It's Rena Friedman Watts, host of the Better Call Daddy Show. And I am so excited to be here with Ken of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. You guys are in for a treat.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, it's time for Mr. Gentleman Facts, quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, small progress is better than no progress at all, as long as you putting in some kind of work. And I say this because there's many people in life where we are not where we want to be, but we are making small steps to get to where we want to be. And honestly, you are doing more than many people who is not doing anything at all. Just remember that. And that is today, Mr. Gentleman Facts, quote of the day. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. On Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, we interview many guests about their life journey, pretty much where they come from and where they at now. Also promoting their brands or whatever they're doing at the time they come on the show. We also have the host talk about personal stories about himself and everything that he's been through. And also we have fun conversation about anything music, anything old school, relationships, wrestling, and many more. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays at 12 a.m. We are also on every Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Spin-Up Series Thursdays, where we have all of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast spin-off series all in one day, where we have a conversation about music podcasts every first Thursday at 12 a.m. the old school show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And we have Date Night Talk podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays at 12 a.m. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, The Pods, and many more. Or y'all can check it out on the official website of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, and tune in every Sundays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in to this commercial break of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Cheer!
My name is Heidy de la Cruz, and you are listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at the time, I have a special guest. She is a podcast coach. She is also a writer. She is the host of The American Dreams and the Eyes of Immigrants. She is also a podcast nominated. We're going to talk more about that. We got Heidy de la Cruz in the building. Heidy, how are you doing?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here and share my journey, talk about my podcast, my writing, the awards. Just thank you so much for providing me the space to share with your audience.
Yes, thank you for coming on the show. It really means a lot. I'm looking forward to what we're going to do today.
Yeah.
But first thing first, where are you from? Let's start with that. Where are you from?
Isn't that always a tricky question to ask someone? Where I'm from. So I was born in New York City, but I was raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan. My parents came from the Dominican Republic in the 90s, so I am of Dominican descent. So, Dominican American. But usually when people ask me where I'm from, I usually just say I'm Dominican and call it a day.
All right, there you go. And shout out to New York because I'm from New York as well. But I'm half Bajan, but I was born here. But,
okay.
Yeah. So now I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions. So how would you describe yourself as a person? Name 3 things.
Yes. So I would say one, I'm a person that loves to have a good time. So I just have fun, laugh, have a good time. And I am a person of faith. So I have a lot of faith. God is the center of everything that I do. And the last thing I would say to describe me is loyal. I'm a very loyal person, friends, family. Sometimes I could be a little bit too loyal. And so, there's that. But those are the 3 things that I would describe me.
Okay, nice. No, those are really good choices. And
thank you.
One funny thing is you said fun, which leads to my next one question.
Okay.
What is one thing you like to do for fun? That's a good segue.
Yes. So for fun, man, I just love hanging out with my family, my husband, my 2 kids. I just love creating memories with them and planning family outings, planning family trips. I just love hanging out with my family. We like to, go to amusement parks. We like to travel. We like to eat. So we like trying new restaurants and foods and stuff. So that's what I like to do for fun.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. And of course, I like food too. So that's always dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
And what in your headphones right now? It could be a song, an album, or even a podcast. What's in your headphones right now?
So neither of those, actually. What is in my headphones right now is actually an audiobook. So I am finishing up Will by Will Smith. And honestly, it's been such a good book. Like, he really went into details on his life, his innermost, things that he was dealing with. And so I'm finishing up that book, and it's been really good, getting to know him at a deeper level.
Okay, nice. I definitely always want to read that book. I think I definitely need to read that book. That's dope. So now let's talk about your beginning of life. So how was you growing up? Let's start with that.
So growing up for me, I want to say I moved around a lot because my parents got divorced when I was 6. So then I was living with my mom for a little bit, and then I would visit my dad's on the weekends. And then once their divorce was finalized, my mom moved to Florida. And so I stayed living with my dad. And so then we moved in with my grandma. And then after he got married, then we moved in with my stepmom. And then from there, they bought a house. And then we finally moved to the one house where I think, when did we move? I think it was like sixth grade. So from sixth grade all the way up until I graduated high school, that was the house that we lived in. But at first it was, moving around a lot, a little bit unstable. But overall, once I moved with my dad, it was more stability than when I was with my mom. So just growing up, there was just like a lot of back and forth. Having Dominican parents or immigrant parents. I mean, well, Dominican as well, but it was like helping a lot with like translation and my dad is a mechanic. So going with him a lot to like the junkyards and translating for him and like AutoZone and stuff like that. Just being the eldest daughter, just having to help out with things like that with my dad and stuff. My grandfather moved in with us when I was about, I think, 14. So it was very interesting living with my grandfather as well. We are very big on respect for your elders. So, sometimes I felt like he ran the household more than my parents did. But, just like hearing stories of him growing up and just stories of the Dominican Republic was really nice. And even traveling to the Dominican Republic back with him. We actually took a trip out there with him during Christmas time one time. And I got to see, the house that my dad grew up in my aunts and uncles, which was really cool. So that's how I was growing up. I was just like, every other person, like I loved hanging out with my friends. Once my best friend got a car, my parents never saw me. I was always out and about. So it was, we had our struggles, and we definitely had our good times, but overall, like, I feel like, it was a good childhood.
Nice. That's really dope. That's really dope. So how all that you've been through made you the person that you are today?
Oh man, definitely has made me a resilient person and a person who, like, when something comes up that needs like, a solution, like I'm like always immediately just thinking of like solutions, right? To just get okay, this is the problem. Here are the different options that we have at hand so we can take care of it. I'm the type of person that likes to take care of problems right away, not let them linger. So that's definitely helped really from my childhood to help me shape into who I am today. So. Mm-hmm.
That's really dope. So one thing I mentioned earlier that you was a writer.
Yeah.
And also you have a newsletter called In My Thoughts. So tell us about what that about and what made you want to start a newsletter?
Man, so that newsletter is like 10 years in the making. So it first started as a blog, and whenever you start anything, whether it's a business or a podcast or, a blog, they always tell you to niche down, right? To talk about one thing and then expand from there. But my problem has always been like, I'm into a lot of different things. I'm into a lot of different topics. For example, like I can talk about sports. I love to get to follow politics. I like reading a lot, just about like different topics. So I'm like, I don't know like one thing that I want to write about. So I also write about like my faith and things that's happened into my life and the lessons that I've learned with that. So as I was blogging about like different things, like I would also include book reviews of books that I read and I found insightful and I thought other people should read. So as I'm blogging about all these different things, I'm like, really, I'm just sharing my opinions or my thoughts on these different topics. So then I had renamed my blog into My Thoughts. And so I blogged for like 10 years. And then I came across the platform Substack, which is the newsletter where I host it. And I just love their platform and how they set it up. So it's like, when you have an email list, like people get your post directly to your email, right? And so they sign up by getting a freebie, and then they stay on as long as, your content is relevant to them. But with Substack, they set it up like more as a community base. So you don't have to specifically subscribe to my newsletter to see my posts. Like if you're on Substack, you can come across the post or you can follow me They have notes, so for different writers to, communicate and talk and have a community. So then when I found Substack, I transferred my blog to Substack, and that's where Into My Thoughts newsletter came about. And I was just sharing like different opinions, different, I like to call it more of a personal development, because I do, provide faith stuff, personal development, things like how to, like, investing in yourself, or like just earlier this year, I started a weight loss journey, but then I realized like there was just so much more benefits than just weight loss. With exercising, it's like it put me in a better mood. I'm sleeping better. So like things like that I like to share with people, so like they can better themselves, right? Because we're always a work in progress, and we're always trying to be a better version of ourselves. So that's what I like to share on there. Initially I was like, I'm gonna, share some political opinions, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. So, but other than that, like I'll share some of my poetry, or I'll share, like I said, faith-based content. I'll share life lessons, things that's happened in my life and what I've learned with it, personal development content. And then, so that's really what I share. I share a whole variety of stuff on there.
Oh, that is dope. And my audience want to read it. Where can they read your newsletter?
Yeah, it's in Substack. So substack.com/into my thoughts.
All right. There you go. Not only that, you're also a podcast host. But yes. Before we get to the podcast show, The American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants, tell us what made you want to go this route. Like, what inspired you to start a podcast?
Oh, my goodness. So I have been listening to podcasts for years. So before I even wanted to launch a podcast, I was a fan of them. And the podcasts that I would always listen to are interview-based, because I really love listening to other people's stories, right? What they went through, what they learned, how they overcame what they went through. And I'm just so fascinated by people's stories. And I really believe that sharing our stories really make changes and changes the world. And so when it was 2019, and I was like, man, I've been listening to podcasts for years. I love listening to sharing. I love listening to stories. And I think, sharing stories are powerful. So I was like, I'm going to start a podcast, and it's going to be, I'm going to interview regular people doing regular life things and just sharing how they're impacting those around them in their community. And so that's what initially was going to be about. But, that was 2019. I was finishing my master's degree, and then 2020, the whole pandemic happened. So I wasn't able to launch it then. 2021, I was pregnant with my son. So dealing with the pregnancy health issues there. And then finally in 2022, I was like, man, I still want to launch this podcast. Still have it in my heart to do it. Let's get started. So I was like in maternity leave trying to research how to start a podcast. And as I'm doing research and I'm thinking and brainstorming about like what this podcast is going to look like, the name, who am I going to talk to? I actually came across this article on Medium where I also write. It was Immigrants from Kenya, and she shared how each cultural shock that she experienced here in the United States really diminished her confidence. And so that really touched me because, again, my parents were immigrants. So like it just brought back a lot of things of like what they went through. Like, for example, I remember my stepmom once, she worked in the healthcare field in Michigan, and there were patients who didn't want to talk to her because she had an accent. And so they would tell her like, no, I want to talk to someone who speaks English. And so just thinking about like things like that. And so after I was reading the article, it really hit me. And then I went to my husband and I was like, I'm thinking about doing this podcast, but now I think I want to do this about immigration. And so then I asked him if he remembered coming, like how he felt, what it was like coming to the United States at the age of 9. And so he was like, yes, I remember very vividly. I remember everything. And so he's telling me his story about when they came. And so as I'm listening to him, I'm like, okay, that was like a whole episode right there. Like that was a podcast episode. I should have been recording that. And so then I told him, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to share immigrant stories and their journey of coming to the U.S. What happened once they got here? Who helped them? How did they learn how to navigate the immigration system? How did they learn how to navigate just living here in the United States? Because like if they come with children, they got to figure out like, okay, where do their kids go to school? What paperwork do they need for their kids to go to school. It's like a whole lot of things that happen that it's not talked about. And so I started with friends and family because I have a lot of immigrant friends. My whole family, they're all immigrants. So I started with them, interviewing them. And then as I, went on Facebook groups for podcasters and things like that, I've been finding people there. And it's just been so overwhelmingly amazing how people have been reacting to this podcast, the guests that I've spoken to, the incredible things that people are doing, like starting their own businesses. And yeah, it's just been such an incredible journey. I've interviewed authors, I've interviewed VPs, I've interviewed doctors, attorneys. It's just been, an amazing journey with this podcast. And that's why I really got started, because of my parents' experience, my husband's experience, and just, the whole negative narrative that there is right now about immigration. And it's like, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Why don't we talk to people who have gone through it and people who are actually working in the immigration space? So like attorneys and things. So like they can provide facts of what it actually takes to come to the United States and the process that it is. So that's why I got started. That's what the podcast is about. Anyone can listen to it. They can watch on YouTube, or they can listen to in wherever platform they listen to podcasts.
All right, there you go. You already knocked out the last couple of episodes, a couple of topics, so that's good.
Yeah.
But I have listened to your podcast, and one thing I do love listening to interviews and stories. So hearing your guests' stories about where they come from, stuff like that, it was amazing. So I subscribed to your show, and I've been enjoying it, and I look forward to more episodes. So keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
And I got another question to ask you. Since you always ask your guests this, I'm gonna ask you this. So, what is the American dream mean to you?
Man, the American dream for me, I actually haven't really thought about that too much, to be completely honest, because when the American dream, concept first came about, I think it was about like, being a homeowner and just having, a house, being married, having 2 kids and a dog, the wife pick a fence, right? But as time has come on, it seems like it has changed. Now it seems like a lot of people just want to be like entrepreneurs and have their own business and things like that, which is great. I love that for people. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. So one thing that I'm hearing a lot from my guests is just the opportunities that this country provides. And so for me, my American dream is actually just what I'm doing now, to be honest, just the freedom to be able to share these stories, to be able to provide a platform for immigrants to share their stories, because there's other countries, who don't have freedom of speech like we do, who don't have that opportunity and are censored and are not able to freely speak their mind, their opinions and things like that. So my American dream is what I'm doing now, is just sharing immigrant stories, sharing, the struggles and then the triumphs and the successes as well. And just learning so much history from these people, like history that we are not taught in the United States. And so I say I am living my American dream.
That is definitely amazing, and that's a good answer. That is a good answer.
Thank
you. and also let my audience know where they can listen to the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants.
Yeah, so you can watch on YouTube. You can listen on or watch also on Spotify. You can listen on Apple, iHeart Media. Literally, if you have Alexa, you can tell her like, "Hey Alexa, play the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast," and she will play it. So that's awesome. So anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can listen on Good Pods as well.
All right, there you go. But also, you just hit a milestone. You have been nominated for the Women in Podcast Award.
Oh my God, yes.
For Society and Culture. By the way, congrats to you on that.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So how does that feel being a podcast nominated show? And how it feel to achieve this milestone?
It feels so good because honestly, this right here being nominated for a podcast is really God, and then also just the power of intention and putting it out there. Like whatever it is that you want to do, you have to put it out there, but you have to do the work as well, right? So I mean this because I think it was last year. So every year, like I set yearly goals, right? For my business, for my podcast, for personal, in my marriage, I set goals for different areas of my life. And so I think it was last year I had posted on Facebook, and I wish I could get the date of the post. But once the Facebook memories come about, then I'll be able to know the exact date. But I posted, I'm putting this out there. My podcast will be an award-winning podcast. And so this year, they one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, the Women in Podcasting, they launched the Women in Podcasting Awards. And so I signed up, was able to get nominated. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is like full circle moment, a goal and a dream come true, because I was like, I want this. I want my podcast to win an award and just say that I am an award-winning, podcast host. So right now I'm nominated. People can still go vote for my podcast until October 1st. It's in the Women in Podcasting Awards, and the category is Society and Culture. So it's just really like, putting it out there, setting goals, and then putting in the work, finding opportunities for yourself, and just networking, because you don't know who knows who, and then also who can help you reach that next level or reach your next goal. But you really have to be willing to put yourself out there. So it's been an amazing journey.
Yes, there you go. And once again, congrats to you. I know you will win. So
thank you.
To you. Yeah, keep killing it. That's amazing. That's amazing. So as a podcaster, what has been your biggest challenge?
Technology, it doesn't work the way it's supposed to work all the time, and it's so frustrating. Actually, even before we started recording, I was having technology issues. My computer was not picking up my mic, so it wasn't recognizing it. So I had to restart my computer 5 times. I think it needs an update. I don't know. But technology honestly has been my biggest challenge. And then I also had a podcast episode where I recorded in person. So this was when I was starting to add video to my podcast, and I was recording in person, and I set up the camera, set up the mic and everything. And then when I went to go edit, the first 9 minutes of the episode sounded fine. And then all of a sudden it was in slow-mo. And I was like, why do we sound why are we talking so slow? What is going on? And so I had to, so in order for it to sound normal speed, I had to fast forward, and then we sounded like chipmunks. And I was like, okay, I can't release this episode when we sound like chipmunks. No. So I had to reach back out to the guest and explain what happened. And she was understanding, and she was like, okay, that's fine. We can re-record. But instead of, doing it in person, we did it over Zoom. And so, so just that, again, technology is just not working when it's supposed to be working has been my biggest challenge as a podcaster.
I completely understand. I'll be having some technology moments too. So
yes.
I completely understand that. 100%. 100%. You probably already answered this question already, but I'm going to ask you again. What is the goal for your podcast show, and what do you want audience to get out of your show?
The goal for my podcast this year, to win the award, will have to be this year. But overall, with my podcast, I just want to be able to share as many stories as possible. I have bigger plans for the podcast. I would love to include a cooking segment eventually in it. So, because I'm doing video, so I would love to be able to go to my guest's house, travel to them, and then have them cook a traditional meal from their home country, kind of explain the history of the meal, what ingredients are in it. And then as we're sitting down and eating, then they tell me their immigration story. I've also been thinking about including immigrant restaurant owners, in this as a segment of the show. And I would love to write a book about the history of immigration in this country. So what laws and policies were put into place, why they were put into place, and who they affected and how. So kind of like dive deep into the history of immigration of the United States. And then also in there include some immigrant stories as well. So those are big goals, big dreams that I have for the podcast. And for this year, it's just to win that award. Yeah.
Nice. That's nice. I know you'll get everything done. You're killing it right now. So you'll definitely go get everything done.
Thank you.
So what are your dream guests? Who will you want to interview for your show? Name 3 people.
Oh my gosh, I have a whole list, and the list is actually growing. But the first 3 that I have on there is Sofia Vergara. She's from Colombia, and she just came here. I think she was like almost in her 40s to be an actress, which is which is technically old for the industry. And so I would really love to interview her and share her immigration story. Trevor Noah. Since he's from South Africa, I would definitely love to interview him. And if you haven't heard his book on Audible, oh my gosh, it is so good. So I'm putting that plug in there. And then I would also love to interview Nelly Galan. She is, I believe, of Cuban descent, if I'm not mistaken, but she actually helped shape the network Telemundo, which is a Spanish channel. Yeah, she actually helped build Telemundo to what it is today. So I would love to interview her on my podcast to share about her experience and then also just how she was able to get Telemundo to where it is today.
Good choices.
Thank you.
So you're also a podcast coach. So what made you want to go that route?
Man, so as I was in this podcasting journey, and, I'm in Facebook groups for podcasters and, people ask questions and other podcasts help and provide answers and things like that. One thing that I was seeing a lot was like in the beginning when they're getting their podcast set up and getting started, like it's overwhelming because there's a lot, you as a podcaster know, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that takes to run a show. So I've also saw the statistic that over 90% of podcasters don't make it past the 10th episode. So they quit before, even episode 10. So I'm just like, I did it on my own. I'm the type of person that I can, research on Google and put it together, set a plan and execute. But not a lot of people can, which is okay. They need, someone else to guide them or help them with that accountability and things like that. So I was like, I want to help people launch their podcasts because, I do believe in storytelling. I believe in, people pursuing their purpose and things like that. So I'm like, if I can help people launch their podcasts and I can help them set it up correctly, get organized from the jump, set up a plan, a marketing plan, a scheduling plan, I believe that they'll be able to, make it past that 10th episode mark. And we can lower that statistic from 90, to lower than that and have, amazing shows out there. So that's what really got me started. I just seeing the need out there. And then also just wanting to build that community to know, we're not alone. There's a lot of podcasters out here who are willing to help other podcasters and start their journey. So I just wanted to be that person that I wanted to have in the beginning. Because when I first started, I didn't have anybody to go to for questions or anything like that. I'm like, no one in my family is doing a podcast. None of my friends are doing podcasts. I'm just out here doing this on my own. So it would be nice to have someone to lean on in the podcasting world. So just being that person that I wanted in the beginning for other people is really what helped me to coach. So I help people launch. I have a 6-week program where they can either do one-on-one coaching with me. And then I'll tell them this week we're going to work on XYZ. Next week, we're going to work on, the next step. And each week leads on to the next week. And so there's that option. And then there's also a course. So I also have a 6-week podcast course where my clients will watch a video. It's usually 10 to 15 minutes long, not that long. And then that video will explain what to work on for that week and why you need to work on it for that week. And then I'm available if they need clarification or questions. They can either send me an email, we can set up a call, and I can help them answer any questions that they want. They can do the course at their own pace, so it doesn't have to be 6 weeks. They can do it in less, but it's completely up to them. And then if that option is not, so, different people like to learn different ways, and they need, different mediums. So I'm just trying to provide as as much options as possible. So I also have an ebook if that's the best way that they want to learn. Same thing, the ebook walks you through the 6 weeks on how to launch a podcast. Again, you go at your own pace. You can do it in less than 6 weeks. That's perfectly fine. But I just have the different options for different people to be able to have the resources that they need to launch their podcast.
And we really do need more podcast coaches because, I agree with you. You know, a lot of people does quit for around 10 to 7 episodes, and they never see their full potential. So
yeah.
I'm happy that you're doing that. And trust me, I didn't have nobody to lean on when I started either. So
yeah.
So I get it.
It's like lonely in the beginning.
It is. Trust me. It is. Trust me. It was not easy at all, but here we are. So yeah. But as you know, I guess doing it. We're in a pandemic, and it was a lot. So my question to you is, how did the pandemic affect you, and what did the pandemic taught you?
Oh man, the pandemic affected me mentally. It really affected me. I was going through my depression during the pandemic, and I wrote about it too. Me struggling, and just so much that was going on. Not just COVID, but just the social injustices and the protests, and just, oh my gosh, it was just a lot coming from everywhere. And so I actually ended up having to take a break from social media, take a break from listening to the news, and just really lean in on God and just be like, Lord, help me, help us, help this world, help this country, just because it was just so much. But one of the things that I learned about the pandemic, because my husband and I actually ended up getting married February of 2020. So right before, I think it was a month right before the world, the United States went on lockdown. And so I jokingly say that the pandemic was the biggest test that we could have to know if we were meant to be together or not, because we got married and then right there the world shut down. So one thing that I learned was me and my husband really are there for each other through good and the bad, because as I was going through my mental health issues, he was there for me. He was my rock, and when I needed to cry, he let me cry. It wasn't oh, don't cry, you shouldn't cry. No, he just let me cry and just let me be, just let me go through. And one day I was just laying on the couch crying, and he was like, let's go. And I was like, where are we going? We can't go anywhere. He's like, no, let's go. We just went on a ride to drive around town, and then he took me to go get ice cream, and then we came back home, and I was feeling so much better. I just needed to get out of the house, because we were just on lockdown. So that was the biggest lesson. It's just knowing that, I have my husband, he has me, we have each other's backs. And that really, it tested us, because it was we were definitely newlyweds. We had just gotten married, but it was this is my person for life. I know he has my back and I have his.
And and I'm happy that you had somebody there for you during the hard time. So that's
thank you.
Good. And also, I dealt with a lot of mental health during the pandemic as well. So
yeah, it was hard.
It was, it was depression, anxiety. It was hard. So
yeah,
which led me to my next question. Which good segue, by the way. Why is mental health important to talk about?
Oh, just because the stigma with it. I've noticed a lot that there's a lot of similarities in the Dominican and the African American cultures. So there's certain topics that we don't talk about. There's certain things that happen within the family that we don't talk about. We just sweep it under the rug and pretend that it didn't happen, and things like that. And mental health is one of those things that is very taboo in our culture, in the Hispanic culture. And I really, really want to change that. I'm very big on opening up and talking about my mental health struggles when I'm ready, right? Not as I'm going through things, but after I go through it, I process, I figure out what was going on, and then I can share. So I've been very open with my journey with depression. I've been very open with my journey with anxiety. And last year, I actually got diagnosed with PTSD. And so this year, I've been really focused on therapy specifically for PTSD, which has been very hard. And I've talked a little bit about it in my newsletter, but not too much because I'm still going through the healing process and the journey. But it is very important to talk about mental health because we have to remove the stigma. We have to stop thinking that to go to therapy, you need to have like something really bad going on with you, or thinking that therapy is for crazy people. It's not. There's just so much that we go through as humans because we do live in a fallen world that we need that professional help to get through it. And so that's why I think it's very important to talk about mental health, to remove that stigma, and then just realize that we're not alone in this. Like, there are a lot of people that go through depression and anxiety, and it's like, it's like me too, right? It's just like just being there together as a community and just normalizing these things that we go through. So that's why I'm very open about it, and that's why I think it's very important to talk about.
Yeah, and I've been pretty open about it too. That's about to talk about on this show whenever certain guests come on. So, because it's very important. And I feel like everybody should share their story, either when they're ready and they're open to do it. So so thank you for sharing your story. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. But now let's get to more lighter notes. We got out the line. So what is your dream venture? Something that you always want to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh my gosh, I want to travel the world, literally. I don't think there's no country that I would be like, oh no, I don't want to go there. Like, I literally want to see everything and everywhere. I want to experience different cultures. I want to meet different people. Try different. I'm a foodie. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a foodie, and I love trying different foods. So I definitely want to travel the world. Just this year, I went to Puerto Rico for the first time, and I absolutely love the food. Oh my god, like Puerto Rican Chinese food, amazing. And so I just love that. I love seeing new places, trying the food, learning about the culture. So while going to Puerto Rico, I went with two friends. So it was the first time I did a girls trip. And one of the friends that I went with, she was born there. And then the other one, she was also born there, but her parents had moved when she was young. So the one who was born and raised there, she was the one who guided us. So like, we didn't go to like the typical tourist places. Like, we went to like places that she knew. And so she took us to this museum, and they were called batallas, I think is what it is. And it's where the Taínos, the indigenous people in Puerto Rico, where they used to meet and do spiritual ceremony. They used to, like, that was like their meeting, right? Like, I want to say like their council, right? And so there was always one chief leader, and then the wife, and then the kids. And so like they would play sports there. They had meetings. So we were able to see that. And that was really impactful. And so like I learned, where the name Puerto Rico comes from, which I never really thought about. It's like, wow, this is a U.S. territory. But like where I went to school, like we didn't learn history about Puerto Rico. So I love learning things like that. So when I travel, I want to learn about the country. I want to learn about the culture and things like that. So that's my adventure that I'm slowly doing, like slowly being able to go to different countries and learn. So yeah, that's my biggest thing. I want to travel the world.
Nice. I definitely want to travel the world because I barely travel like that. So yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. I agree with you. Definitely travel the world. All right. What other project that you got going on that you have not spoke about yet?
Oh my goodness. Actually, none. I don't. Well, coming up in the fall, I'm going to be doing a few webinars. I'm going to be doing a podcast webinar for authors and writers. And then I got this opportunity to be in a virtual summit for the first time. So I'm going to be one of the key speakers, and the virtual summits is for Latinas in podcasting. And I am going to be sharing about podcasting SEO. So I'm really excited about that. So there's a few interviews and online magazine interviews that are coming out in the fall for me. But other than that, I don't have any other projects coming up. Just getting ready for those webinars.
Nice. There you go. There you go. And what do you have to say for anybody going the same route you? Like with the podcast,
Yeah.
getting an award, the writer, being a writer, the podcast coach. Say something inspirational.
Yes. So what I love to tell people is whatever it is that you want to start, whether it is to write a book, whether it is to start a blog, a podcast, whatever it is that you want to start and get your hands on and get that project going, my biggest advice is always reach out to someone who is where you want to be. Right. So a lot of times we let our friends and family who don't understand the vision or the dream that we have, because again, God didn't put that vision to them. They put it for you. So a lot of times our friends and family don't understand that. So they talk negatively about it, right? Like, oh, like, who do you think you are? Or what are you doing? Like, no. Don't listen to the negativity. Just reach out to someone who is doing what you want to do they are where you want to be. Reach out to them, see if you can get mentored by them or coached by them, or see if they have like, if you can set up a meeting with them to ask some questions. You'd be surprised how many people are actually willing to help, to answer questions, to help guide you, even if it is for a 15-minute call, because one, they're going to feel honored that you reached out to them to ask questions, and two, being willing to help, right? So reach out to someone who's doing what you want to do, ask for help, don't do it alone. Because again, it is, if you're doing something that no one around you is doing, it can get lonely and you can get discouraged. But if you find your community of people who are doing what you want to do, you will have support, you'll have guidance, and you'll be able to reach your long-term goals.
Now, that's really good advice. Thank you for sharing that. That's really good advice. I agree
Thank you.
100%. So, Haley, before you go, we're going to play a segment game called 5 Random Topics, where I ask you 5 topics and you just answer it, the best way you can.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So the first question is, what is your favorite show right now?
Oh man, we just finished Breaking Bad, and we are actually going to start watching Better Call Saul, which actually came after Breaking Bad, but just like a prequel. So yeah, Breaking Bad right now is my favorite show.
Okay, nice. I would also go join in this as well. My favorite show right now, I've been watching the new season of Emily in Paris on Netflix. Is
it good?
Yeah, it's good so far. It's good so far.
Okay.
I didn't finish it yet, but it's good so far.
I've heard a lot of people watching that, so that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. All right, my next question is, what is your favorite movie of all time? I should say.
My favorite movie of all time, honestly, is Titanic. I love Titanic. It's such a good movie. Like just how it was captured, how it was done. The love story in it. I love everything about it. I love James Cameron. He is a badass when it comes to movies.
That's a good choice. Well, I have to say, this movie that was in the 80s. Not a lot of people know it, but it's one of my favorite movies growing up, called The Last Dragon.
Okay.
Karate movie. It's a karate movie. It's really good. It's really good. Next is, what's your favorite type of music?
Favorite type of music? Oh my gosh, I literally will listen to anything except for like heavy metal. So I really like all types. Like I'll listen to hip hop, rap, R&B, 80s, 90s, soft rock. Man, everything, especially Hispanic music. Oh, the reggaeton, salsa, merengue, bachata, like all of that. So I really listen to all types. Mostly I do listen to Christian music, like Christian contemporary. So if I'm not listening to that, then I'll listen to like some old school 90s R&B. I was really big into Jay-Z and Kanye. And who else? Drake. I used to listen to Drake a lot. So yeah, if I'm not gonna listen to Christian music, I'll listen to like the oldies.
There you go. For me, I listen to all types of music as well, but of course, old school R&B is always my favorite.
Yes.
From 90s, 80s, Motown, 70s, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely old school R&B. All right, fourth question is, what's your favorite time of year?
Oh man, so my favorite time of year, now that I live in Florida, my favorite time of year is our winters here, because it's just so beautiful and it's not It doesn't feel like hell outside. And then when I lived up north, my favorite time of the year was like the spring. It was like when the winter was ending and then like summer was coming. Oh, so it's like this. Actually, I just realized it's like the same because the winters here in Florida feel like spring in the north. So there you go.
I have to say, for me, I agree. Spring definitely, because not too hot, not too cold.
Yes.
But I like winter. I got mixed feelings about winter because I don't mind the cold, but I'm not big on snow. But I feel like winter got a lot of dope activities, though. That's what I like about winter, the activities. Like skating, ice skating, Christmas and stuff like that. So yeah, those are my favorite times. And the last question, which you been mentioning this a whole lot this whole episode, so I feel like I have to put this in. What's your favorite food?
Oh man, Dominican food, hands down. No. I mean, we eat Dominican food every day, but honestly, like I love all types of food. I really love tacos. I love sushi. I love ceviche. I love pizza. I'm a big pizza girl. I love all types of food. But if I could choose one food to like eat and never get tired of it, it will definitely be tacos.
Nice. That's a good choice. For me, I like all types of food as well. But I'm gonna have to say Thai food. That's always been my favorite. I can eat Thai food all the time.
Yeah.
But Haley, thank you for coming to the show. It was a really dope conversation, and continue to kill on your podcast. Good luck on your awards, because I know you're gonna win it. You have made a show, and I'm looking forward to everything you're about to do. So thank you again for coming to the show.
No, thank you so much for having me, for providing this opportunity to speak with you and your audience. And I love being on your show. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And before you go, drop your social media where everybody can reach you, and drop everything that you're doing. And also let people know where they can see your podcast. This is your time. Drop everything. This is your time.
Yes. So you can definitely see more information on my website, HeidyDelaCruz.com. I hang out on Instagram, so my handle is my name, Heidy, Heidy, period, De La Cruz, DELACRUZ 13. And my podcast, The American Dream and the Eyes of Immigrants. You can watch it on YouTube or listen to it wherever you get your podcast. And just thank you so much. Love hanging out with you. I love providing all this information for your audience, and I hope to connect with more people.
Yes, there you go. Thank you, and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman. Now, I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spin-off Series Thursdays. And Spin-off Series Thursday is the new home for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Spin-off Series. That brought to you shows like A Conversation About Music Podcast, The Old School Show, and Date Night Talk Podcast. And A Conversation About Music Podcast is a music spin-off series where we talk about anything music, from the current music scene and the old school music scene, where we interview many guests that's in the music industry and artists about their music journey. We have a segment game called The Face Off, which is a versus inspired game. And we have roundtable discussion about variety of music topics. And y'all can check out A Conversation About Music Podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Now, the Old School Show that featured myself and the star Roddy Rod is a show where we discuss anything old school, from music, TV shows, movies, and many more. We also bring in guests to join in on the old school conversation. Y'all can check out the Old School Show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. Every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And last but not least, we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B, where we talk about anything relationship related topics like love, dating, relationships, cheating, the good and the bad, and many more. And y'all can check out this spin-off series, Date Night Talk Podcast, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. So look out for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Presents Spin-off Series Thursday, a conversation about music podcast every first Thursdays. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Rod every fourth Thursdays, and Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays. And y'all can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series and every Thursday for spin-off series Thursdays. And thank y'all for checking out this commercial break. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. True! I just want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning into this latest episode of the Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank you to my special guest, Heidy de la Cruz, for coming on the show. I just want to say thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And thank you in general for coming on the show. This was an amazing conversation. I had a really good time with you on the show. So once again, thank you for coming on the show. And once again, congrats on the podcast nomination for the Women in Podcasting Awards for Society and Culture. And I definitely have been voting for you because I definitely want to see you win. So once again, congrats on the podcast nomination. If y'all want to vote for her as well, y'all could just go to www.womenandpodcasting.net. Just go down to Podcast Awards. Go down to Society and Culture and look for the American Dreams in the Eyes of Immigrants. Keep voting for Heidy. You got until October 1st to vote. So once again, congrats. I know you're going to win. And keep killing on everything you're about to do. And everybody check out the American Dreams in the Eyes of Immigrants. Amazing podcast show. Tell amazing stories. And yeah. And once again, thank you for coming on the show. Y'all already know where I'm at every Sunday for the main series of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And every Thursdays for spin-off series Thursdays, where we have shows like a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday at 12 p.m. Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. And the Old School Show with myself and the Star Rider Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. Spin-off series Thursday will be returning in January of 2025. So look out for that. And yes, we will be turning for spin-off series Thursdays, January 2025. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pods, and many more. Y'all can rate the show 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Podchasers. The more y'all rate the show, the more people know about Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ken, a.k.a. Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Ken, a.k.a. Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And you can subscribe to us on YouTube. We also have content on YouTube from the audio versions from Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast TV, from Mr. Gentleman Fact Quote of the Day, and many more. You can also check me out on the Premier Boys Podcast with myself, Aaron Kitok Sands, the Star Rider Rod, and Long Little Chief Mighty Mal. New episode every Wednesday at 12 p.m. New episode every Wednesday at 12 p.m. You can also check out other shows in the Premier Powerverse Networks. King Talk with Aaron Sands, hosted by Aaron. King Talk Sands every Friday at 12 p.m. Star Town Podcast, hosted by the Star Rider Rod, every Monday at 12 p.m. And welcome to the trilogy, hosted by Long Little Chief Mighty Mal. New episode coming soon. Listen and support every show in the Premier pod first. If you want to be a guest on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast for season 8 and season 9 or any other spin-off series Thursday show, send me a bio about yourself and everything that you do to my email, ken@gmail.com, or hit me up on social media, Ken_Mr. Gentleman. I repeat, Ken, KEN _Mr. MR Gentleman, GENTLEMAN, and we can set something up for IG, X, Threads, and many more. So yeah, we can set something up. If you want to be a guest on the show, just hit me up. And now it's time for our favorite segment. It's time for Mr. Gentleman Like That Shoutouts, where we spotlight every podcaster that deserves their flowers. Last week, for Mr. Gentleman Like That Shoutout, we shout out Pitbull Wellness. We shout out the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants. We shout out Podcast for Profit, and we shout out Troll 3 Talkback. Check out the 4 shows that we shout out last week. And this week we got 4 new shows to shout out. So first, shout out to Pedal of Support, hosted by Mama D, where she's had many inspirational tips for you. And she also had the interview episode called The Sleepover, where she interviewed guests in 1 or 2 part episodes and about their journey or how things in their life change and many more. You already know, Mom D, this is a really dope show. And I'm still waiting for my invitation. But check out Pedal of Support, hosted by Mama D. The next show that I'm going to talk about is the Candid Kara podcast, hosted by Kara, who is a music artist and also a podcaster where she discusses stuff that's going on in her life, from mental health, and even talk about her music and many more. This is a really dope show. One of the newest shows I just started listening to, where I got recommended by on Threads. So this is a really good show. Check out the Candid Kara podcast. The next show I'm going to talk about is the Elevation Edit, hosted by Randy Ramsey. This podcast is about personal development, wellness, and the art of editing your life. And this is a really dope show, which is also a new show that I started listening to. And this is a really good show. And check out the Elevation Edit podcast. And last but not least, we got the King and Queen themselves, the Things About Us podcast, hosted by Willie and Fiona. They discuss a variety of topics from love, marriage, relationship. They even had guests come on the show. I was a guest on the show. Hopefully, I'll be back on the show in the future. This is a really dope show. They also got the spin-off show with the League of King podcast. They also got the Pull Up. Fiona got a school spin-off series and many more. This is a really dope show. One of my favorite podcasts that we listen to, the Things About Us podcast, hosted by Willie and Fiona. And check out these 4 shows that I just mentioned. Pedal Support podcast, the Candid Kara podcast, Elevation Edit podcast, and the Things About Us podcast. And that is this week, Mr. Gentleman Like the Shoutouts. Chill! And y'all already know what to do next. Add me on Good Pods, Ken, Mr. Gentleman. Y'all already know Good Pod Kids, the many independent podcasters. We can rate each other's show. We can see what everybody listens to. And of course, we have the charts. And that's it's time. It's time for Mr. Gentleman Like the Achievements, where we spotlight everything that the Gentleman Like the podcast is doing. And of course, we got the Good Pod charts for Top 100 shows. We're on number 9 for Top 100 shows. For Society and Culture, we are through number 1. We've been number 1 for 7 days now. For Personal Journal, we are through number 1. We've been number 1 for 13 days. And in the next 2 days, if we make it past 15 days, we will break our record. So, and yeah, once again, thank you for everybody who is continue to listen and support Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. And thank y'all, man. It really means a lot. Thank y'all for helping me keep going. Because it was what for y'all, I wouldn't keep going the way it is. And the encouragement and the inspiration. So once again, thank y'all, man. It really means a lot. And of course, check out the official website of Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlikethatpodcast.com. You can listen to every episode of Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. You can watch every video of Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. You can check out every guest profile who's been on Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. 71 guests You can now check out Haley Cruz podcast profile right now on the official website. Check out every guest appearance that I've been on. More guest appearances coming real soon. And of course, buy the official merch store at the Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle store at tpublic.com. We have shirts, hoodies, mugs, kids shirts, and many more. And yeah, support Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast the best way that you can. And support the merch store at tpublic.com. The search Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle store. Or y'all can just buy it through the website. And support the website www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. Once again, thank you for listening to this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Next week's episode, we have another special guest who is an entrepreneur, who is the founder of the Fox Hunter Club. We got Miss Brownie Marie in the building. We're going to talk to her about her brands, life, dating in this generation, and many more. Once again, thank you everybody for listening to this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Have a good day or night, wherever you're listening to this episode.
Hey, this is Chef Ashley A. Torres, owner of Chef Ashley A. Torres Catering, and you are listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.